Hello folks, Bronco Bob here with Texas Best Used Motorcycles. Here today to show you one of my favorite Jeeps of all time. It's a 1985 CJ-7 and it was built in California by Mike's Metal Fab. This was his personal Jeep and he did so many things it's going to be hard to show you everything. But in true Jeep fashion, I'm going to start with underneath the Jeep. He put a full width Ford 9-inch in the rear. It's got a ARB air locker, balanced drive shafts. It's 4-linked in the rear. It's got greasable joints, king coilover shocks, disc brakes. The frame on this is just beautiful. He fabricated the skid plate. It's flat and it's got holes in it, so if you get in water it can drain. It's got a skid plate for the oil pan. The exhaust is all routed real nice and covered. It's got beadlock wheels and it's got the extra large studs that you find on a racing vehicle. Really nice TIG welded roll cage. Beautiful dash. It's got auto meter gauges. It's got air conditioning. There's your ARB air locker switches. It's got interior lights that are LEDs. It's got an Atlas transfer case, tilt steering column, really nice bucket seats that are covered in leather. These are Beard racing seats. It's got a Bluetooth CD player inside the console here. It's got a navigation, Cobra CB. Some of the stuff is old school because it was an old school build. The doors were reconfigured by him where he got rid of the vent windows and then he cut this and welded it and painted it so it would clear the roll cage. The roll cage is tied to the frame. You can see where it's bolted. These king coilover shocks have reservoirs. The exhaust is tucked up real nice. The front is a Chevy Dana 44, also a full width. He remachined the hubs to fit the 5 on 5.5 bolt pattern. And I want to tell you about these studs. These wheels had to be machined to fit over these extra heavy duty studs. Something you'd see on a race car. And he ran in the high desert in California. He's got Hydro Boost brakes which work fantastic. Transmission cooler that's thermostatically controlled. A power steering cooler. It's powered by a low mileage LS 5.3 and a 4-speed automatic transmission. He's got the axles geared to match the 37-inch Truxas tires. This front bumper is just a work of art. It's got flush mounted lights. It's also got the old school HID lights, a worn 9.5 winch with synthetic rope. And he built this sway bar disconnect system. This is all machined. This is actually a locking hub where you lock and unlock it to connect and disconnect. Beefy Heim joint steering. It's got a Reed racing knuckle which distributes the load and keeps everything parallel so you don't have any bump steer. Really nice heavy duty diff cover. The air conditioning blows cold. He wanted this to be a Swiss Army knife of CJ-7s. In that it had the CJ-7 look. Of course it's kind of on steroids, but something you could drive down the highway, go to the trails, run very hard trails, and drive it home. He used to pull a little trailer behind it, and I'll get into that in a minute. But I just wanted to show you some of the workmanship. The dash is really pretty how it's done. And this roll cage is fully TIG welded. It's got cross braces. Super robust. But he used to go to Johnson Valley and he lived in, I believe it was West Covina, California. Again, he built these bumpers. He did use a Curry anti-rock sway bar system in the rear because he had the king coilover shocks. It's got an extra large capacity fuel tank. And when I bought this Jeep several years ago, I flew to California. I live in Texas, and I drove it back to Texas. And I took my time. I took some back roads. I saw some beautiful country. I did go to Johnson Valley, and the Jeep just performed flawless. He built these custom toolboxes in the back where he keeps tow straps, tools, everything's out of the way. And he wanted to leave this area clear. He used to pull a little camper trailer and he would set it up and spend the night, because sometimes you get out there and by the time you're climbing some hills and you've been there a while, it's getting dark and you don't want to drive home. Well, he devised a way where he could sleep in the back of the Jeep. And I know that sounds tough because it's pretty short, but I'm going to set that up and show you what he did. It's pretty cool. But anyway, I just wanted to mention it, but that will be included in the sale. It's a canvas cover. It's encapsulated to keep you dry, so you could actually sleep in the back of the Jeep. It's got the clevis tie-down hooks, and I've taken it on a few Jeep Jamborees. I usually remove the hard top, and I like running with the open roll cage. It does have a aluminum roof on top, unlike a bikini top that flaps around. It's all metal. I'm sorry this video is so long, but there's a lot to talk about this Jeep. And we're going to have in the listing the specifications like the axle ratios. And one thing that was important to him, he stuck with Chevy and Ford axles, the full width, so there's no modified custom U-joints. The axle links are factory, the brakes are factory. You can get parts at an auto supply. But I'm going to say this, this Jeep's been driven and used, but it's been very well cared for, well maintained. But it's probably one of the best all-purpose CJ-7s probably in existence. There's a lot of beautiful restored ones that you can go get in them and get ice cream, but this one's actually a trail rig. You can see how scratched up the bead locks are on the wheels, but it has been taken care of. It hasn't been hurt. Oil changes, maintenance. AC blows cold. I never figured out how to use the Bluetooth stereo to sync it to my phone. It does work, but I just haven't been able to sync it. You can see some of the modifications he made to make these doors work with the roll cage. Nice Nerf bars. I'll have pictures underneath. It's a wonderful Jeep. In fact, let me start it up where you can hear it. It's got a fairly quiet exhaust. All the gauges work. It's also got a dual battery system, which is kind of cool. The exhaust is up high where it's not going to get smashed by a rock. But thanks for looking. Thanks for your time. I'm Bronco Bob. Wishing you happy trails. And somebody's going to get a fabulous CJ-7. Not another one like it anywhere. Thanks for listening to my long video.